Hi guys, welcome to How to Play Great Boogie Woogie Piano. And we've looked at some left hands, we've looked at some right hands, and now let's try and put things together. If you come over here, camera person, to the right hand. Now, I want you to remember this concept, that when you play a boogie, see if you can start varying it, because you all remember Hammy's Boogie, which I taught you way back in How to Play Amazing Piano. It was one of the first boogie woogies I first learned from my piano mentor, Hammy Howell, died now back in 1999, but this is Hammy's Boogie, which many of you know. Hammy's Boogie. If you don't know how to play that, go back and look at, I think it's lesson 4 and 5 of How to Play Amazing Boogie Woogie Piano. So if you want to know Hammy's Boogie, that's where I kind of break it down, lessons 4 and 5, I think, of How to Play Amazing Boogie Piano on this channel. But what I want to get, when you get Hammy's Boogie and you can play it, the basics, because this is the first Boogie Woogie I learned. It's that Hammy Howell taught it to me. And what you want to do is, when you've learnt it, start varying it and playing around with it. And by varying it and improvising on it, that's how you're going to really expand your musical consciousness, if you will. So, for example, you know, typical Hammy's Howell is Hammy's Boogie. You know, you might want to start doing things like this. So that was Hammy Howell's Boogie, but with some variations thrown in. You know, it's still recognisably Hammy Howell's Boogie, but I've kind of, you know, almost made it slightly unrecognisable by varying it. And that's what you might want to do. So when you learn a Boogie Woogie, whether it's Hammy's Boogie or whether it's a lick or a riff from this channel, take it, learn it. But here's the mistake that most beginners make. They just leave it at, they've learnt off the riff. Show me a right hand riff so I can be a great Boogie Woogie player. Okay. And then they sit down at the piano and they go, and it sounds not very convincing. However, you know, once you start internalizing it into your bloodstream and kind of doing, you know, and adding your own little bits onto it, then it starts to come alive. And that's what this channel is all about. Rather than just mechanically teaching you a riff, which we do teach you the riffs, I want to encourage you to take the riff and make it your own by changing something in it that suits your own playing. That, because your hands are different from mine, your musical brain is different from mine, and your whole physiology is different from mine. So are you just learning the riffs mechanically, which is okay as a start, but are you just leaving it there? Are you taking the riffs and kind of putting them within your system and externalizing them with your own spin on it? That is really what it's all about. And often I see people making the mistake of, teach me a right hand riff, teach me a right hand riff. If only I could learn a right hand riff. Oh, teach me the right hand riff. What do you reckon of that, camera person?
Very good.
But when I've taught you the right hand riff, you know, it's like laziness kind of, we sometimes suffer from a little bit of musical laziness. Just teach me what to do, man. Just show it to me so I don't have to think. But, you know, once you learn it, in order to make it, you don't want to sound like a mechanical boogie player, because a mechanical boogie player is a non-boogie player. You want to take the riff, learn it mechanically, but then you've really got to add to it your own spice and your own kind of flavour in order to make it a convincing boogie. So that's the lesson of this boogie. Learn the riffs by all means mechanically. Go through, there's a section on this channel called Right Hand Boogie Riffs Slowed Down. in the playlist section. Often people don't investigate the playlist, but if you click on playlists at the top of the play, go through all the playlists. There's loads of playlists that you're probably not familiar with on this page, and I want to encourage you to look through the playlist, because people just look at the first video on here and they press it. But if you go through the playlist, you're going to find all sorts of things like Boogie Woogie riffs slowed down, a whole section on right-hand Boogie Woogie riffs, classic Boogie Woogie solos. There's a whole pile of stuff on this channel which is kind of often untapped by people because simply they don't press the playlist section. So press the playlist section. There's a whole treasure trove of stuff there for you, but be warned that it's not just learning the riffs. That's part of it, but then you've got to take it and add your own element to it, and that is really the basis for becoming a great Boogie Woogie player. As always, press that like button, visit the Dr. K Boogie community page, get the Badass Boogie bundles, which are the sheet music transcriptions for the Boogie Woogie lessons of this channel at www.badassboogie.com, and I will talk to you
very soon.
Soon.